Welcome to the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency for dispensaries. Each episode will dive into the world of search engine optimization for cannabis dispensaries. We'll discuss the latest strategies and tactics to help your dispensary rank higher on search engines and attract more patients and customers. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, join us as we explore how to maximize your online presence and stay ahead of the competition in the rapidly growing cannabis industry.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the High Rankings podcast. It is almost Thanksgiving. I can't believe it. I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again because that's genuinely how I feel. This year is absolutely flying by, and normally I'm quite prepared for Christmas, and I'm not. So That's how my life is.
What episode are we on, by the way?
We're on episode number 85, by the way.
Good to know.
85. That's an 8 and then a 5. Anyway, yeah, we are like swiftly heading towards the end of November. And I know you're not going to be here next week, like the end of next week, because you're jet setting away. But if you were going to do any shopping, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, etc., what would you be buying?
That's a good question. First thing I would look at, probably a TV. And I don't play video games, but I think there's a new Grand Theft Auto coming out like next year. So maybe I don't know if there's a new Xbox or PlayStation, whatever, coming out. Maybe one of those. I'm not like walking into a store though, if that's what you're asking. I'm avoiding that mayhem.
Oh, for sure.
The parking, the yard sale that is Best Buy or Target or the mall, especially the mall. The parking there is pure mayhem. I'm not doing that. That's what you're getting at. But I would look at a TV, maybe like some gift ideas. I've already got I have like a notepad on my phone of people I'm going to buy gifts for and like some ideas. So I'd fill up that list and I've got ideas now and then see what I can knock off of that just so I don't have to do like in-person shopping for holidays.
Yeah.
And of course, like I'd look at, some hockey stuff, hockey equipment, maybe some sticks. I could use a new pair of skates. I've had my skates are custom, not a big deal. But I've had them for like probably 6 years now. So I think I need some new wheels and maybe some for my bike. I blew the bearings apart on my rear wheel. I messed up a jump at trestle and hit my rear wheel and it kind of effed it up. So there's something along those lines. What about you? What would you get? What would you get me?
Some peanut M&Ms, probably.
Those are the best kind. I bought a bag and I had to throw it away early. I bought a bag of those Hershey Kisses with the almonds. Oh, those are so good. So good. Shocking. You don't like it. Anyway.
Peanut M&Ms. I have an idea for like a smaller gift for you. I'm toying with option A or option B as far as that goes, but I have an idea for that. But yeah, so for you, I'm probably just going to send you some candy because you need candy in your life. Good candy, not fucking nasty Hershey's. No offense. I'm not anti-American. I just think Hershey's taste like gone off milk. Anyway, so outside of that, definitely Christmas gift ideas. I have an idea for one of our kids that I don't even know if it will go on sale or not, but he's getting like teenage years and like he thinks he's cooler than he is, which all 16-year-old boys are, but talking about wanting a Benz and some diamonds and he doesn't even have a job. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I was thinking about like a designer wallet or something, for all that money that he doesn't have.
Yeah, it's like where's he going to put in it?
Yeah, right. But I thought like that's kind of where he's at in life, So maybe
like a Louis Vuitton wallet?
Maybe, or maybe like a Coach.
Oh, you know what? I think I have one of those. I think I bought one of those in Thailand.
Like a Louis Vuitton?
Not like a real, like I bought it. It was like, I don't know, what was it, like 90 baht, which is like $3 American.
Yeah.
If I have one around here, I think I do have one. If I find it, I'll text you and send it to you.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive I have one.
I don't even know if like I'm sure designer stores don't do like Black Friday, but for me, I think for him, it's like that he gets like the whole designer experience. Do you know what I mean? It comes in the box and all the stuff. And anyway, that's one idea I have for him. My husband and I, we don't buy for each other, so that's easy. We don't bother. The other kid potentially is getting a car because she needs to learn how to drive and mine's too big, which seems like an extravagant thing, but I am going to preface it by saying like we're going to buy it, but she's going to get a job and like, you know, pay towards it. And then my husband and I don't buy for each other, and then it's just like, well, I have a few friends to buy for, and that's kind of it. My parents, typically I just send them money because it's easier that way, and then they can buy whatever they want with the money. It's just so much easier. And then like the Ohio
$2 a calf.
Yeah. So I have like my close friend in Ohio whose birthday is next week. So her birthday box is ready to go. And then I have to start Christmas, but I already know what I'm getting them. And then I send them all like candy and stuff up there. So it's not a lot of things I have to get. It's just, I feel very uninspired this year. Normally I know like I'm inspired in this. And now I'm just like, I just don't know. But for me, I'm toying. I don't know that I'll buy it for myself, in all honesty. Unless that like it's a price that you just can't beat. I'm toying with that Nespresso machine. But I already have a Keurig. I have a small Keurig, like a small cheap Keurig, and then which I love. And then I have an espresso machine. But the thing about an espresso machine is like you have to clean it all the time and you have to clean all the parts, which is fine. I don't mind doing it, but I feel like it's more of like a weekend thing. Whereas like in the morning when we're rushing to get to school and work and all the rest of it, if I could just stick a pod in there and make my espresso over ice and then throw in a protein shake, I just feel like it would be like so much easier. I mean, you have one now. What are your thoughts?
I like it. It's a cool looking machine.
I don't care if it's cool looking.
It
like,
works.
Is it quick? Yeah.
Took me a couple rounds to figure out how to use it. And then like it's quick. I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like is that too much? 3 coffee machines seems like a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. What about like, I was gonna say like a bread maker, because bread is life.
No, Joe just makes it from scratch. So
what do you want for holidays? What is Kaz Potts wanting?
I hate to say book because I've literally run out of space. I'm literally running out of space. I want my husband to take this one wall that we have in our house and turn it into like built-in bookshelves, but I think it's going to take a lot more work than I thought. But books is like the number one thing that I enjoy. Like that's my thing. I'm up to 80 something this year already that I've read. So yeah, that would be, I don't know. I'm trying to think what people have bought me in the past. Like, so books, here's what people buy me because I don't think I'm hard to buy for, but I guess I am. Nobody buys me an actual book because they don't know if I'm going to like it or if I already own it. So I get like Barnes & Noble gift cards a lot, which, love. I get Sephora gift cards because also, last year, one of my friends got me a gift card to buy a pair of On Clouds because she knew I wanted them, but didn't know which ones I wanted. So loved it. Went on and picked out the ones I wanted, and that was great. So you know those shoes that me and your niece have, the same pair of?
Yeah.
There's a pair of them that's like that, but they're black, and I'm eyeballing those up. Do I need them? No. Do I want them? Yep.
I could use some shoes, actually. The shoes I wear the most are 4 years old, and they're so comfortable. You know, I have J's, I have Dunks, I have all kinds of Adidas, and I wear these shoes that are like mostly white, like the black Adidas stripes on them, and they're I bought them in early I think I got them right before COVID, and they're so comfortable. I love these shoes so much. I don't know if maybe I'd go to like a cobbler and they can clean them up or something. I don't know. Yeah,
you can, depending, but oftentimes you can do that. I really am into the Adidas Gazelle Bolds right now, which I have a pair that are like pink and blue, but I would like a neutral pair, like a neutral color. But the New Balance ones that me and your niece have, I really want them in black. I was watching this interview on YouTube the other day, don't ask me why, and it was 4 people. They were British. One was like the lady that does the hair and makeup on the deceased in a funeral home. One was like a funeral director. One was a lady that goes to the crime scenes, like works for the coroner's office. And the other one was kind of like a doula, but for people who were dying. And it was fascinating watching them interact with each other and the different tasks they do and la la la. But this one lady had a pair of those New Balances on, but had them in black. And I was like, yep, I need to get me a pair of those.
How'd you land on that video?
I watch a lot of like true crime on YouTube, so probably just somehow I watch it. I also watch a lot of British true crime because I miss hearing the accent, so probably somehow that way. I don't know, but yeah, that's really. I'm just trying to think. What my husband, I think last year for my birthday, he bought me an anchor, a diamond anchor. It was a necklace with a diamond anchor pendant. Just trying to think. I don't know that books and shoes. Pretty much. I like
books and shoes
and coffee, books, shoes, and coffee.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to hit 100 this year. I feel like I could if I didn't do anything else, but I don't want to. I don't want to put like a stress on myself. Like reading books should be a good time, not like, oh my god, I got to rush through this book right now so I can hit this goal. You know?
Yeah.
Every year I set my goal at 52, which is one a week, and every year I exceed that goal. But I feel like if I put myself a goal of 100, I would just freak out, and I don't want to do that.
Real quick, before, what are we talking about today? Anyway,
we are talking about how to avoid predatory SEO agencies if you're looking at hiring one for your dispensary.
Red flags, I like that. Real quick, maybe you watched it, maybe you didn't. What were your thoughts on the Mike Tyson fight?
So here's the thing. I don't watch boxing or MMA or anything like that. This is my opinion and my opinion only, not the views of High Rankings or anything else to do with us. I don't like those sports. I think they're really barbaric, and I personally don't enjoy them. I do fully understand that there are millions and millions and millions of people who do, and good for you, because we all like different things. From what I understand from the World Wide Web is that it seemed as though they both got paid an awful lot of money to, I guess Mike Tyson effectively stood there and just took hits from what's-his-face. And I understand that the nicknames I've heard have been great. I've heard Joke Paul and I've heard Fake Paul for nicknames. But I hear that he got paid way more than Mike Tyson did, which is insane to me. But I just think like, oh, and Netflix had a bunch of streaming issues going on. I think if you were a true boxing fan, I think you should have been really disappointed in it, because it seems to me like it was very much planned out as to how it was going to go and who was going to win beforehand, from what I'm understanding. And I think if you're a true fan of the sport and you enjoy what the sport is, I think you should have been very disappointed and very let down. But also going into it with your eyes open, understanding the massive age difference between the two and the levels of fitness. So I don't know. It's not my jam. I guess I wish people would stop doing this kind of thing for money, but then it's money, so I get it. But yeah, I don't know.
My opinion, I look at it. So I grew up playing hockey, and I would hear, even like my parents, my dad gets, my mom would ask, like, why do these guys fight? Like, well, it's a part of the game. And you hear like casual fans sometimes at hockey games or like at bars or whatever, like, why do they fight? Like, well, they can. It's a part of the game. Hockey.
I don't understand that, but yeah.
It's needed in hockey. Hockey would be way worse if you could not fight. If somebody runs your teammate and you couldn't legally punch them in the face, things would get way worse than they already are.
It happens in football all the time. I mean, they literally.
Yep, that's not cheap shotting though. That's like in the bounds of the game. Plus, they're holding sticks in their hands where they can like spear and club you. Like that's why you don't see that stuff, because you can get punched in the face. So it's two consenting adults. They understand the dangers and all that. Blah blah blah. For pushing, how old is Tyson? 58.
I'm
pushing
not sure.
60.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, that guy's a menace to begin with. That guy's an absolute animal. I watched like 10 minutes of like his best fights, and he just crushed guys. And I thought it was like so badass, and like he's an absolute unit. For pushing 60, I thought he looked pretty freaking good. And he was like all business. He walks in. Of course, it's a huge letdown, which I was kind of, and good for that kid, Jake Paul.
I can't stand him. I will never sing his on a thing that boy does.
If you started out just making videos on YouTube and now you're fighting the greatest boxer or one of them, like, I mean, good on you for making that happen, because that's bonkers to me. That's banana lands. Clearly, they both held back. I thought it was all right. It was a letdown, but it was all right. I didn't like go out for it or anything like that. I just watched it in my place with girlfriend, and yeah, that was it. She actually fell asleep.
I also think this. I think it has the potential to undermine all of the hard work and dedication and effort and training that real boxers have done. I think it really has a potential of doing that. And as someone who doesn't clearly follow the sport, but as somebody who potentially could have been part of their captive audience that they were trying to reach out to, I think it potentially, doing these things is potentially damaging to the sport as a whole in the long run.
To me, it's like those small leagues in like southern Quebec where it's just, there's just a bunch of goons. You know, you're not supposed to say that word in hockey, but it's guys that just fight. Like they can't really skate. They're like failed MMA fighters, and they just go to Quebec, and that's all you do. You just fight, and it undermines the game of hockey because the game is so fast now. Like at the NHL level, it doesn't really happen that much fighting. Yeah, it takes away from the sport, I think.
And also, he's not fighting anybody that's really in their prime.
Yeah, like I think that was the argument of Jake Paul. So that,
there's no way
one fighter against somebody like his age or
that's what I'm saying.
Whatever it was, like a current fighter, I think he lost to him. I think.
And also, like if you, like you said, you went back and you watched videos of Tyson in his prime, right?
Oh,
there's no way. That's what I'm saying. So now it's like, it's almost like bullying is too strong of a word. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But you're almost trying to embarrass somebody. Like everybody knows that once you get to an age like that, you're never going to be as good as you were in your 20s, 20s and early 30s. There's just no way. But now you're like, it's almost degrading. And I understand that he signed up for it and he let himself get in the ring and he trained for it himself. I understand all of that. And I don't know how much money he does or doesn't have. I don't know. I just think it's ugly, man. I don't know. And no other sport does it that I know of. And it's just, I don't know. I just think it's gross. So, and like I said, that's my opinion. And, and I with knowing very little about the sport, but clearly I do know who both of these people are. I don't know. I think if people tuned in to watch that and they didn't know anything about boxing and they thought that that's what boxing was, I think that they've done a disservice to the sport. But I did see online everywhere people saying that they hope that Mike Tyson would knock him out in the first round.
Oh, yeah. I texted my buddies, like, I hope Tyson just eats his face.
Yeah, because he's not very well liked. For reasons. I mean, it's not like, But anyway. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, moving on from my very strong opinion about something I know nothing about. We do have a Formula One race this weekend, which I'm very excited about, but the timing is stupid. The race is at like 1 a.m. on Saturday morning. Well, Sunday morning. Saturday night, Sunday morning. So crazy. Okay, this week we are talking about, like we already said, how we can avoid hiring or talking to any predatory SEO agencies for your dispensary, how you can spot red flags, what are the obvious things that we can see are obvious, but obviously you might not because you've never tried to hire a dispensary before. There are some people who will say all the right words and you think that they know what they're doing, and then you just don't get the results that they're promising you and that you think that you would like to see. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I guess, first of all, before we even really get into what a predatory SEO agency is, we should probably explain exactly what an SEO agency is in case anyone's planning on hiring one. So how would you describe it?
SEO agency is, hopefully it's a team. It can be an individual, but hopefully it's a team that is hired by a dispensary or a business, let's just say a business, to increase the amount of warm traffic to your website. And hopefully the end goal of that, by increasing warm traffic to your dispensary, leads to more sales for your dispensary. So it optimizes your website, makes it easier to be found on Google, on the internet, and it increases your revenue from the work that they do.
So it would be fair to say that this is all work that potentially you could do yourself if you had the skill set and the knowledge to do it, or you wanted to train to do it. Mm-hmm. But typically an agency obviously would be an outside company that you would hire or contract with in order to do the work. So it frees you and your staff up to do something else within your dispensary.
If you have the skills, if you have the time, yeah, do it. Like, it's a great skill to have. It really is.
So also basically the point of an agency is to take that off your plate and to free up your time, obviously, but also to make it easy on you. So if you find that you hired an agency and it's taking up a whole bunch of your time and creating more stress in your life, then maybe that's not the agency for you.
Yeah, and the stress part, the time part, it's like the missed opportunities, underperformance. We've heard some horror stories from being in the agency world. Yeah, there's nothing worse than working with a bad agency. It's literally, it's like times two. It's a waste of money, and in my opinion, the worst, it's a waste of time. It's so brutal, even having to experience that, or to like end the contract early, or the whole poor performance thing. I guess it would be like finding like a bad mechanic. It just makes your life so much worse, and you have to Uber back and forth. And you got to listen to the mechanic.
Yeah.
Like we turned the wrench on the carbuncle, but then the carbuncle broke, and I don't understand that. Like, who are you even saying right now? Like, does the car work or does it not work?
Are we even speaking?
Well, it's going to cost more money.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. So, I would relate it like that.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. And honestly, there are some agencies that end up doing more damage. It ends up that your website is worse off after you've ended up having to terminate them than it was before, you ever hired them. So that definitely is a fact. And we have run into that. And I'm not trying to scaremonger. I'm not trying to say, oh, you can only hire us. I don't mean that by any means. I just mean the whole point of this episode is that we try and teach you what you can look for and what you should look for.
What would you say is a red flag then to look for?
You want to rank for this keyword by tomorrow at 4? You got a new site and you want to be beating Amazon on the rankings? We're the agency for you.
Yeah, like weed maps in like the first couple days kind of thing.
Sure.
So like unrealistic expectations then?
100%. Like, if it sounds like it's too good to be true, guess what? It is. One thing that I always say about when we are dealing with clients, whether they're potential clients or they're existing clients, is we have to set and manage the expectation. We can't let them think that we're going to be able to do something we're not going to be able to do, or we're going to be able to do that in a specific time frame that's unreachable. But you never want to do that, because you never want to disappoint someone. You never want to let someone down. You never want a client to think that you lied to them or misled them. It's always better to err on the side of caution. So it's always better to tell them, we can do this, but it's going to take X amount of time, an amount of time that's reasonable. And then if you hit that target within a shorter amount of time, then guess what? Bonus, So there's that.
Gotcha. I think unreasonable. Yeah, because you're way better studying that than I am, because you're like a bird's eye view of not just SEO, but like of a campaign in general, of like a business working relationship.
100%.
Much better at that.
Yeah.
I think, unreasonable expectation, or like guarantees, like we'll double your sales in 1 month or like 2 months, whatever. Like it's so stupid. It's I get where you're coming from. Like I guess I understand where an agency is coming from with that, but it's just, I think it is predatory. And in fact, we've talked to a couple dispensaries that have had that. I've read about it online, and it's almost ruining the market. And then it really leaves a bad taste in a dispensary's mouth. They are open to working together, and then it's like, okay, well, what happens after 1 month or 2 months? And then there's scrutiny, and then those expectations aren't set, and it's just it's downhill from day one.
And you know what else I think also hurts the industry is that you'll go on any type of social of a dispensary agency that's like trying to market itself or say how great they are, whatever it might be, in order to get new clients. And we've all had, every single one of us has had an instance where we were ranking for something, and for some reason, whether it was just something special we did, or whether it was just the unique situation within the market at the time, or competition wasn't ranking for it, we've all had that one keyword that immediately took off and just ranked, or a page that just immediately ranked. Every single one of us has had it. That is not the norm, right? It is not the norm. And what irks me, what vexes me, is that they will take that one anomaly and they will run with that anomaly as if that's the norm for them and for their agency. And because they can prove it with like analytics and data, like this legitimately happened, it misleads people into thinking that that agency can consistently deliver that, and therefore all other agencies should also be able to consistently deliver that. And that's not the case. But it's so misleading. And then when you're talking to them about them potentially hiring you, well, ABC agency can do this because look, here, they've done it. And if you don't know SEO very well, or you don't know the agency very well, then yeah, why would you not believe that that can be done?
Mm-hmm. So how would you, during like the initial call with an agency, how could you spot these couple red flags?
Well, if that's the only one they're ever showing you, then you know that they're full of shit. Like if that's the one that you saw somewhere on their marketing thing that wanted you to call them, and then when you have a phone call with them about potentially hiring them and they show you the exact same white paper case study, that should right there.
To me, I've learned so much about like working with specialists, not like a jack of all trade. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, this is just my opinion. I have a Forerunner, so I take my car to a Toyota specific repair shop. I know it's going to cost me more, and I'm okay with that. But the time that it saves me, because they solve those problems like right away.
Yeah.
I think not working with a specialist is, again, just my opinion, is a slippery slope. I think high pressure sales tactics, I think we've all been through those before. I think not having a game plan of like how to work together. I get like not scoping out an entire like 3-month campaign, but at least an agency saying, look, here's where you are. Where do you want to go? Okay, here's the steps to get there. And here's the results that we've had by doing those steps with other dispensaries.
Yeah, but as long as they're like realistic, like ABC Dispensary really wanted to rank for Purple Haze near me. And when we took them on, their domain authority was this, and this was what, they were looking like. And you can see gradually over the course of X amount of time that we were able to get them second on, on the results page or something. You want to see realism is what you're really looking for.
Right. One of the biggest ones to me, expectations is big, but another really big one is the golden handcuffs. And that to me, golden handcuffs is like agency XYZ will build your website for free if you sign a year-long contract. But after the year-long contract, let's say like the 13th month, that website doesn't belong to you. So you're basically leasing a website. And it's a red flag to me because it's not your asset. The website doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the agency. You're putting your money into the agency's asset. And we talk about this all the time with like Weed Maps and Leafly. You're building on rented land. And that's a huge red flag.
And we always talk about you don't want to rent, you want to buy.
Right. You want to own it and just hire somebody else to swing the hammer.
Yeah. So obviously I've heard the term golden handcuffs a million times. But my question is, as someone that's never hired somebody to build a website, and the only real experience I have is us, and I know how we operate, and we don't operate that way. If I was going to hire someone to build my website, how would I know to look for that? Like, is there a specific like language that they use, or like, is there something where I'd be like, oh, like, no, this is a golden handcuff?
Like, and we talked to a huge retailer recently, actually. There is an agency that he actually told me that they pitched him this idea is same thing. If you sign on for 1 year, we will build you a website for free. And that's a line item on their scope. So in their proposal, they spin it as a free website.
Yeah.
The SEO for you, it's brand new design. Everything is updated. But at the end of that working relationship, that no longer belongs to you. So you can spot it as a new website onto their platform. So if an agency is saying it's our platform this, our platform that, it's not your asset, it's theirs.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. So we'll build it on our platform. Whereas ABC Dispensary comes to us and they want us to help build them a website along with their SEO. What terminology do you use to express to them that like that's not the case? Like it's not a golden handcuff, like it's yours.
Like we would just say, like, if we did build websites, we would say, look, this website belongs to you. It's your domain. So it's on this land. We're going to build your house. We're going to swing the hammer for you. And look, if let's say we only work together for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, at the end of that term, it's going to belong to you, Dispensary XYZ, not to us.
Yeah.
We just build it for you.
Yeah. We build the house, give you the keys, let you move on in.
Yeah. We're just putting it up for you. That's all.
Perfect. And then I wanted to circle back to something only because you have the experience in this field of the two of us vastly more. When you talk about high pressure sales tactics, you've been in the seat of selling, of a salesperson. Would you consider something higher pressure to be like kind of unique to the individual on the receiving end? Or are there certain things that you as a salesperson would avoid so that you didn't make a potential customer ever feel that way?
I don't think you should try and sell it like, the hard sell of like a used car salesman of, we just got this car in, there's only one left, change this now, like all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Look, if you're talking to a dispensary about SEO, they may or may not know that where they stand in ranks of Google, but it should not be like that high pressure close environment. It should be the agency wanting to help the retailer. The retailer understands that there's a problem and that retailer can reach out to the agency and the agency can solve that problem. And it's up to the agency to make it as simple as possible for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
I don't agree with that. Like I've been through that where I know you're tiptoeing it. We used to work there. I mean, it's just like, no, that's not how we do things.
Yeah, that's not how we do things for sure. And then the other thing is we are really transparent in our reporting, even sometimes when it doesn't make us look great for whatever reason it might be. At what point in the talking stages or of potentially hiring a dispensary like ours, would you ask them about like how they report? Because if they're not transparent with their numbers, their data, or if you think it's inflated, which we just obviously a couple of weeks ago, we found out that Weedmaps was certainly inflating their data. Like how early on, I know like when we were initially talking to people, we explained to them, we do monthly reporting and we use this, and this, and you can see all these numbers. Like if I'm looking to hire a dispensary, is that a conversation that you would have like probably one of the first phone calls that you had?
How to report?
No, how that agency reports and what they use to report and to show their results.
Yeah, I think that's a very important question. Like how early on, I'd say if not the first like discovery call, then at least the second. That agency will probably show a case study and then you can get a sense of how they report from that case study. So is it directly from Google Analytics? Is it from GMB? Is it from Search Console? Is it from Local Falcon? Is it, do you audit the website? Do you do like a technical crawl? Is it GT metrics? Like, are all these tools into one spot? Or is it just like strictly ROI? Which I think you have to feel that out. If there's multiple stakeholders, generally one, is the driver and they just care about the bottom line. And then the other, maybe a marketing person or like a brand person will care about like more SEO KPIs. But that conversation is to be had pretty early on.
Yeah.
Not the first conversation, then the second, because that retailer needs to know where their money is going and how it's going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, how is that going to look over 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months?
Yeah.
So all that to say, very early on, that conversation needs to be had.
When you talk about like 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, I know how we do it, but obviously we're not the only SEO agency in the game for dispensaries. But do you feel like there should be like a minimal amount of contract time that you're looking at and or a maximum amount of time? Would one or the other be considered like, oh, that's a little bit of a red flag?
I think if an agency is only pitching like 1 year, like I get it, SEO takes some time to ramp up. There's a lot of outside factors that impact SEO rankings. Should there be a minimum? No. I mean, we don't do minimums. We recommend, a couple months to start, 3 months to start, like whatever, depending on the domain that we're looking at.
I'm going to say this right now. I do think there should be a minimum because I don't think you can do anything in 30 days. Anything worthwhile and long lasting in 30 days.
We've talked about this.
We have.
We have that conversation where we say, look, and I've even told retailers, look, if this is a 1 month thing and you're just going to judge this off of like 1 month, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I wouldn't even do it. Just save the money.
Yep.
Yes, like we do really, really good work, of course, but if you're just kind of dipping your toes, no, because that's a very like different type of retailer where if you talk to a retailer that's like, all right, let's go for 1 year. Like they're like he or she, that retailer is thinking long term.
Yeah.
Gets the game where like the retailer is like, oh, like I don't know, we'll talk after 2 weeks and like just no. Like thanks for talking, but that's not our ideal customer that we'd want to work with. And I don't like the idea of trying to walk. Like if you walked onto onto a car lot and you said, all right, I want to lease that car, but I only want it for 2 months. I don't know. Like, is that even a thing? Are they going to look at you like kind of weird? I'm not sure if that's a great way to relate that, but to me, that's a red flag.
Yeah, I just don't think you can barely do anything. I mean, you can do work in 30 days, but I know from experience that our first 30 days, yes, obviously we do some posting on the site, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of what I call housework that gets done in the first 30 days. There's a lot of cleaning up that gets done. There's a lot of technical SEO that the client probably hasn't even really thought about that we do behind the scenes in the first 30 days. So it would just be a waste of time. It's like going to the gym for 30 days and thinking that 30 days is going to see you through the next 11 months. That work that you put in for 30 days and you lost 7 pounds, that you're now going to lose 7 pounds every month for the next 11 because you went for 1 whole month. That's not how that works. Now, that's not to say you need to be tied into a predatory gym membership for the rest of your life, but like the foundational work has to be there.
I think that's a great way of putting it, of like going to the gym and losing weight.
Yeah.
Lifting weights, cardio, eating right. How much can you really see? Like, where's your body at now? What percent growth, whatever growth means in that context, will you see in 30 days? That's a lot like SEO. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 30 days. I personally believe there should be a minimum, and that is not for any other reason than managing expectations. And I just don't believe anybody tries to find an SEO agency for a short-term situation. Now, again, I'm not saying, well, you have to be locked in for a year. We don't do that at all in any of our contracts. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, again, set the expectations and understand why your potential client is reaching out to you. What are their goals? What are they trying to achieve? And then you talk to them about whether those goals are achievable, what the reasonable amount of time is. And I guarantee you none of them is going to be 30 days.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so we've kind of highlighted like some of the real like obvious kind of red flags that we've had. And I know that we talked about the fact that no agency is going to totally map out a whole campaign before they have a contract signed. But as a potential customer, you can try to ascertain their skill level of the agency by asking them, I guess almost hypothetically, what steps you would take. Like off the top of your head, how would you map this out? Would you recommend pairing it with any other marketing things? Because you want to try and figure out, like, are they knowledgeable? Even some basic things like, do they know you can't do Google ads? Like, do they understand the constraints that the marijuana industry has in terms of internets and websites and advertising and those kind of things? You want to make sure that everything that they do is above board and following the law so that you don't get completely wiped off the map by Google or whoever else because you're breaking the law. Like, these are things that they seem like, well, duh, but there's some dodgy people out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, not just in the cannabis space, but in the agency space. We've heard some stories.
Yeah.
As they say in hockey, just keep your head up.
Keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah. Don't skate with your head down.
Yeah.
That happened over the weekend. This guy got smoked behind the net. Absolutely smoked. I'll send you the video. It's pretty bad. But at the same time, it's like easy for me to say this sitting in my fat ass in my chair. Like he had the puck was rolling behind the net. I'm going off a total tangent right now, but he had his head down and he just got absolutely blasted.
By what? A stick or a puck?
By another player. He was coming at him, so he.
No!
Yeah, he got, and he's a big boy that hit him. He's a big dude. And
no!
Yeah, it was bad. It looked really bad. Anyway, the whole thing that is keep your head up. Do some research. Look into this agency that you're about to talk to. Ask what their strategy is. How do they do keyword research? What's their backlink acquisition system like? How many competitors do they look at? as a retailer, if you open a new location, what does that process look like? And obviously, how many dispensaries have you worked with in the past? Or like, what kind of work have you gotten for those dispensaries? Again, I'm biased, but I think it's very important to work with specialists, hyper specialists, because dispensary marketing, dispensary SEO is very nuanced, and you don't want to burn your money on top of your time.
Yeah.
I would ask as many questions as possible and do your research. And I give Kaz shit because she's a creeper, but that's where it comes into that. That's a good skill set to have because you can see if they're full of shit or not.
And also ask them who their clients are and reach out to their clients.
Yeah, ask for
clients, but like ask for a couple of references and reach out to a couple of references. Now they're probably going to give you their best clients. Just be aware of that. Like, because who wouldn't, right? You're still trying to paint yourself as an agency. You're still trying to paint yourself in the best light. So you're still going to give them your best clients, but these are going to be real people who have seen real results, and you can ask them all of the questions, that you still have. So definitely ask for references, 100%.
Yeah. And also for the agency, like, I think they should do their homework too. Like, can you see yourself, working with this team for the next, 3 months, 6 months, however long it is? Are they pain in the ass to the, what are the red flags? Maybe we do an episode on that, like red flags and working with a retailer.
Yeah.
We definitely have them. We have a list internally. And do your homework on the, it's a two-way street. I think the agencies should do their homework as well.
Oh, for sure. Because you don't want to get trapped into a client who is problematic, who doesn't pay, who micromanages. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with overseeing and there's nothing wrong with being involved whatsoever, but you hired an agency for a reason because you don't know what they know. And micromanaging can often become quite a problem. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it, unless I'm missing something.
I think that's about it.
Just don't hire anyone scammy.
Yeah, just do your homework. Don't hire shitbags.
Yeah. Also, this is my personal thing. Take this with a grain of salt. But if you go to hire ABC agency and you go to their website and you just look at their website and you're like, what? No, don't hire them. Like you listen to our podcast if you haven't listened to them already, and if you've listened to them, you have a basic knowledge of SEO. You know to look at URLs, you know to look at structure, you know to look at the menu, you know to make sure things are linked on page and off page, like basics, right? You know not to have a super gnarly busy homepage with 12 videos on it and no reviews and right? So if you go to this agency's website and none of the basics of what we've talked about throughout the last year and a half or however long it's been are there, or you go to websites of their clients and it's the same situation.
Yeah.
Right there.
There's your answer.
Yeah. I look at, honestly, like I'm a asshole when it comes to looking at people's websites, even people with nothing that I could be looking for a pair of shoes. I don't know, whatever website it is, because now it's like when I was proofreading before, like in a previous life, and I was doing a lot of proofreading. I can't read something now that's got misspelling, bad grammar, terrible punctuation. Can't do it. Drives me up the wall. And I can spot it like instantly. And it's the same thing now with websites. If I go to a website that might have nothing to do with work and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is awful. Because you're so used to seeing it all the time. So it stands out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm done venting for today.
No, you're not. You're done on here.
Yeah. There'll be more, I'm sure. Anyway, we will be back next week with our final episode before Thanksgiving. So we won't skip a beat. We'll be back with one more episode before the Thanksgiving break. Don't know what it's going to be about yet, but we'll figure that out. In the meantime, you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. Have I missed anything? Oh, Instagram. You can like, comment, subscribe, ask us any questions. A fun thing I would like to do, and this is literally out of the blue and I haven't run it past Charlie, so if this makes it into the podcast, then I guess it's fine. I would really like somebody to comment somewhere with their website and ask us to take a look at it. Like, literally off the cuff in the middle of a podcast. Like, we won't dog shit on it too hard, but we could give you I might, but we could give you some constructive criticism on your website about what you could change to improve it. If you want, we don't even necessarily have to put your website address into the episode if you don't want, but I think it would be a really cool thing to do where you get to see the things that we notice like immediately, like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So if anyone's interested, get in touch with us with the multiple ways I just said. You can DM us on Instagram if you want. I will see that and I can respond. If you'd rather like just keep it private, but keep the website private, but let us do it on the podcast, or we can name the website, whatever. But I just think it would be really interesting for you to see the things that we look at and notice first, like right off the cuff. So if anyone's interested, sure, hit us up and we'll take a look for you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and that's all I got. We'll be back with another episode in a week from now.
Peace.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency for dispensaries. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found value in the insight and the tips we shared. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling super generous, we would love it if you left us a review. If there's a specific topic you'd like us to cover in a future episode, or if you have any questions, you can go ahead and find us on LinkedIn or YouTube. We'll see you next time.